All right, today we are going to discuss how to improve stroke timing and how to swim against cords in order to do it. So it's all about doing the right thing at the right time. And so when timing is on, it's 1 plus 1 equals 5. And the result is greater than the sum of its parts. Swimmers get more propulsion when they time the pull and the rotation well. In butterfly and breaststroke, they get more propulsion when they time the pull and the undulation well. And they can also eliminate resistance. So for instance, dolphin kick in the butterfly, that can help get the hips up in the front of the stroke, and it helps them get the hips up in the back of the stroke. Breathing in all strokes, if it's done at the right time, it's pretty easy, and swimmers don't necessarily create a lot of drag. If they do it at the wrong time, they're going to create a lot of drag, and it's going to slow them down big time. Arm recoveries. If swimmers recover the arms at the right time, they can take advantage of the rotation and the undulation and the range of motion that provides. If they don't, they're going to have to compensate for that somehow, and that usually means poor arm recoveries, which usually means disrupted alignment. And also, after each pull, the arm's usually moving pretty fast, and so if swimmers can time things right, they can usually use the momentum of that arm to kind of swing it around and have a more effortless recovery. So for all these reasons, timing is key, and if swimmers don't have good timing, they're going to struggle to swim fast, so that's what we need to help them improve. Unfortunately, timing is difficult to improve. And that's because describing great timing is really hard to do. It's not what, so you're not describing an event, you're describing when. And so relationship between different events. And that's a lot more nuanced. And so if you can't describe it, it's pretty hard to teach it. It all comes back to timing being very precise. Small changes in timing can have a big impact on performance, whether that's the creation of drag, the creation of propulsion, or how much effort it takes to get through a stroke cycle. So it's very difficult to describe because it's all about precision in the relationship between different events, and that can be hard for swimmers to understand. Multiple actions have to be coordinated together, and if they're not coordinated properly, it's not going to work. It's really hard to get a cognitive understanding of what it is, and even if you can, communicating that to other people is really difficult to do. And so great timing is something that needs to be felt to be understood. So what we have to do is put swimmers in situations where they can feel great timing. Here's an effective way to help swimmers learn great timing. Swim against cords. When they do, the timing has to change. As they move through the lap, they're going to have more and more resistance, which requires more and more propulsion. So that means any gaps in propulsion in between the different strokes have to get smaller and smaller. And so swimmers have to change their timing in order to make that happen. It all happens within one lap, and swimmers have to change their timing automatically in order to keep moving forward. And it provides great feedback. Swimmers either move forward or they don't. And it also creates an environment where they have to explore. Because they're constantly changing their timing throughout the whole lap, they're going to get a lot of different sensation and they're going to become more aware of the impact of their timing. And so we can use this environment where they're experiencing a lot of change to take advantage and to impact skills. And therefore, learning becomes more effective because swimmers have to make a change, they have to explore, and then we can put more pressure on different types of changes if we want to make a change in a specific area. Typically, swimmers are just told to change their timing. In this situation, they're forced to change their timing, and that can be really powerful when used appropriately. So how can you make this strategy really effective? First is change the speed. Have them descend, have them go faster, have them go slower, have them do different speeds, which means they have an objective goal and they've got to figure out how to make it happen. You can also put stroke count restrictions on them. So have them reduce their strokes, only let them take a certain number of strokes. Again, they're going to have to learn how to be efficient and fix their timing and reorganize their stroke to accomplish the goals of the set. You can do the same thing with stroke rate restrictions. Tell them they can't pick up the stroke rate, but they still have to get to the other side of the wall. They're going to have great timing. They're going to have great skills. You can use different training aids. If you put a buoy on them, it's going to change things. If you put fins on them, it's going to change things. If you have them wear a snorkel, it's going to change things. Leverage the different training aids to get the changes that you're looking for. You can also add fatigue. Do more of these repetitions back to back with not a whole lot of rest. It's going to force them to explore and figure out different ways of achieving great timing and also do it under pressure. You can use different hand postures such as closed fist, horns, okay sign, whatever. It's going to change how they hold water, and that's also going to influence their timing. You can also mix in regular swimming. So go a couple chords, do some regular swimming. Go a couple chords, do some regular swimming. And that way they can start to figure out how to transfer these different skills into what they're doing with their regular swimming. And so there's an almost unlimited number of options, and you can use them to shape the changes that you're looking for based upon what your swimmers need. So here's some example sets that you could use to get started with these ideas. Now remember, the benefit of the stretch cord is that there's a progressive increase in resistance along the course of a single repetition. So swimmers have to change within a single lap. So we've got 3 different sets here. They're all 825 swim against a cord. That's automatically going to require them to explore their timing. But in the first set, they've got to descend. So they have to go faster and still get to the other wall and still change their timing, but they also have to figure out how to create speed when doing that. In the second one, they've got to swim against the cord, but now they have to take fewer strokes from 1 to 4 to 5 to 8. So they have to find a way to be longer, but still make it to the other side. In the last set, they can throw a tempo trainer on. They can start at a certain stroke rate, but in between reps, they've got to drop that stroke rate and still get to the other side. So they've got to reorganize their swimming, still have great timing, still be effective, but they're limited in their ability to pick up the rate in order to do so. So you're forcing them to explore different ways of swimming, and they have a great objective feedback. They either got to the other side or they didn't. They hit the time or they didn't. They hit the stroke count or they didn't. They were able to lower the stroke rate or they didn't. And that's going to force them to explore. It's going to force them to change what they're doing, and it's going to force them to find solutions in order to accomplish the goals of the set. And because those goals ultimately involve better performances, that's what we're really looking for. And the stretch cord creates a great environment to make that happen. So hopefully that was helpful. As always, keep it simple.